place where I am, how I have grown in career, and just, some things that I've learned along the way, experiences that I have been through, and what it has taken for me to get to where I am today. So it's not been because of education, it's not been because there's someone giving me opportunities outside of whatever was available, but most of it was because I was persistent, I was insistent, and I was consistent. No matter what was happening in my life, no matter the different struggles that I had to go through as an individual, as a 19-year-old, being responsible for a family and being orphaned at that early age, there was not much hope that looked to be there in the future. But one thing that kept pushing me and one thing that kept me going was that remembering those 3 words that my English teacher had told me when I was 15 years old. And so they kept me going. They kept me flowing through life. Even when things were difficult, I just remembered all I needed to do was to be persistent. I needed to be insistent. I needed to be consistent in everything I was doing. So there's no way of achieving gains if you cannot take great risks. And risk-taking is part of you being insistent, okay? So taking a risk to achieve a goal requires for you to have courage to face the fear of uncertainty. So putting yourself out there, basically. So no matter the outcome, either way, we grow through the process and become more resilient and confident. So even if you fail, failure is not really truly failure. It is just another way of learning that something can be done in a better way. So better yet, building skills helps in taking more risks and improves your chances of achieving your future goals, right? So putting yourself out there is something that very many people are scared of. Even being asked to come onto a forum like this and to speak. There's been so many speakers who have come before me and done amazing jobs. And thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to offer CDPD? But there's something that I have that I can share with the members of CDPD, as well as people across the globe. And it could touch someone's life, it could make a difference in someone's life. Something I might say today might change someone. A lot of things that we assume that people know, or that, we take for granted that, oh yeah, well, I don't need to say these things, I don't need to write this article, I don't need to, talk to people about this and that, because people know these things. But the truth is, people may not necessarily know these things. And sometimes people need to be reminded. People need to hear stories. People need to hear about people's journeys, how we got here, how I worked from basically, what I used to call a glorified office boy. That's what I used to call my job at some point when I was beginning, just a gob. In short, that's what I used to call myself. And how I've worked all the way and gotten myself to the place where I am. So maybe it can be an inspiration to someone that you do not have to have anyone, pushing you behind. You do not have to come from a certain background. You do not have to have money. It is not necessarily the education that you have. Education is excellent, it's important, but it's not everything. Right? So yes, I want us to remember persistence, insistence, and consistency. That's the only way for you to grow, for you to become resilient and steady, and for you to gain confidence. So inaction basically will lead you nowhere. Being comfortable will limit your chances to grow. And you need to overcome your fear, as I mentioned. Do you hesitate to go after what you want because you're afraid it will leave you vulnerable, a failure, and exposed to hurt, disappointment, and even ridicule? These are some of the things that people face. They say, I don't want to, fail. I don't want to be exposed to hurt. I don't want people to see me failing, you know. But if you don't take the chance, if you continue sitting back and letting fear take you and letting fear overcome you, then definitely you're not going to take any risk, and there's not going to be any trajectory in your life. So you're just going to be in a comfort zone, and comfort zones don't get us anywhere. As it says on the slide, inaction leads nowhere. Right. And then the second point that we're going to talk about is embracing a growth mindset. So when I'm talking about embracing a growth mindset, I'm basically talking about personal development, learning as you go. As I said, not everyone has the opportunity to have higher education or, you know, go to university. If you have, well and good, this is excellent. If you have a master's, if you have a PhD, excellent, this is great for you. But again, there's very many people who do not have these things. And even if you have a university degree, a college degree, you know, even if you have a master's, personal development and growth is not something that you achieve once, but it is something that is life, is for the rest of your life. So how to learn new skills for a career change was an amazing presentation that was given by Nicole Merrill, who was the presenter who just came before me. And if you have not seen that presentation, I will really urge you to go and look at it, because she took us through the reality of embracing hybrid skills and lifelong learning, and she accurately described the importance of embracing a growth mindset. So constantly learning and picking up new skills as you progress in your career is basically what personal development is. Learning on the go. You do not need to necessarily go through an expensive education or formal schooling in order to make an achievement in any field. Personally, I am working in the humanitarian industry. I did not learn anywhere about being a humanitarian. I did not go through, you know, schooling to learn that, but I have gained job experience. I started from a lower position and slowly through the years worked my way to program management where I'm in now. So I keep on insisting that experience is your best teacher. Every time, experience is your best teacher. So what can you do if you want to start a personal development plan today, right? So first of all, you have to start where you are. It can be intimidating, taking control of your own development. Many people are afraid of it. However, there's some easy ways, as you can see here, about organizing your personal development plan. So be grateful by focusing on starting with what you have. So recognizing your worth and focusing on what you already have, because you put an enormous effort into getting to where you are. So also think about the people, you know, who benefit from what you do. And if you improve yourself, you know, if you develop yourself, those benefits are going to increase also for those people. Then the next thing you can do is for you to take baby steps. Make a plan by breaking a large goal into small components. You know, sometimes if you look at something as a whole, it can be very intimidating. But if you just pick and take small bite-sized pieces, even when you're working, like when you do a project and you just take small bite-sized pieces, it is going to make it more palatable. It's going to make it, you know, easier for you to break down the task, put together the development plan, and, you know, have a result in the end. And another important aspect is for you to embrace change, know where you are going and what you are setting out to accomplish. So our world is constantly changing all the time. Even if you and I do nothing, the world will still change. the world will still go round, and the sun will set and the sun will rise. So embracing change is very important. Change is not easy, but learning that going with the flow is one of the best things that you can do for yourself, is amazing. So think about it. If people and ideas didn't change, we would probably right now still be living in the caves. So embracing change is really important. Another very important thing is for you to learn from others. I say this all the time, that experience is a harsh teacher, and you don't want to go through experiences for you to learn necessarily things. If someone has already gone through something and you have been able to be there to see what they have gone through, it's so much easier to learn from that. You don't have to, again, walk the same line and go through, maybe the difficulty that they went through or the challenges that they faced to get to where they are. Learn from people who have already gone through certain experiences, right? So if you can find a mentor or if you can find a coach, then this will definitely make your task easier, because then this is somebody who can guide you and who can offer you support as you move on. Also, learning from others, read as much as you can. Keep yourself updated on industry news, for example. Read articles. LinkedIn, for example, is a great resource and for you to find some great links inside there, resources, professionals who are holding classes and things like that. Also, in the last presentation that was here that I said with Nicole Merrill, she mentioned some great suggestions for places where you can go and, find amazing resources like Coursera, places like edX, and these places and resources are free of charge. You don't necessarily need to pay for them, right? In East Africa, for example, we have access to community leadership centers like YALI, which is the Young Leaders Initiative Network. And this offers virtual resources and courses in leadership absolutely for free. And you're able to also get a certificate of completion once you've done. So these are just practical steps that you can take yourself to learn, right? Not necessarily expensive ways for you to gain skills and knowledge, but just resources that are available online. So also you need to keep going and never give up. Life works in circles and moves to a rhythm. You will have ups and you will have downs. When you hit a slow point or things don't seem to be moving, don't give up. The most important message, again, is to be persistent, insistent, and consistent for you to keep moving. So there's no such thing as a continued rapid advancement. And so a personal development plan has to be balanced and it has to be achievable. So again, the second point about taking baby steps is really important. Don't feel like you need to rush through it. Don't feel like you need to achieve things quickly. Let it be balanced. Go step by step. Give yourself time. Give yourself a break when you need to take a break. But then don't forget, to keep going back and to keep the momentum going. Because the worst thing to do is to lose momentum. Once you lose momentum, then getting it back is really difficult. So keep the momentum going. Embrace change, take it with the flow, learn from others. If you can find a mentor, if you can find a coach, absolutely amazing. I remember when Dinette was my senior manager, I approached her and I set up a calendar. I went through her calendar. I saw that she had some time. I requested her if I could see her because I wanted for her to be a coach and a mentor. I just loved the way she had come at the time into our organization and some of the changes that had been implemented. And we were going through a difficult time. And so when she came in as one of our senior managers, there was so much change and transformation. And so I identified her. And even though, to be honest, some people were were scared of Didet. Not that Didet is someone scary, but people were just, scared they would maybe meet her in the lift and
Yes, they were, huh?
Didet, I'm not trying to say people were scared of you, but I was confident just to approach you. It didn't matter because you were the regional deputy director. I was just like, I see someone who can help me, and I see someone who can, build my career. And I just said, hey, Dinette, can I please have some time? I would like to see you and talk about a few things. And it was so amazing because you were so instrumental in helping me figure out what I wanted. And I remember at that point is when I moved from a program specialist to a communications specialist. And it was all because I was able to sit with you and we analyzed what my career projection was, and you helped me through it. So definitely having a mentor and a coach is important. Don't be afraid of people. Don't be afraid of approaching someone and asking. The worst thing that can happen is someone says no. And that is not written on your face that, Alvin said no. And if someone says no, then really that's a loss to them. You keep going, you keep being persistent, you keep being consistent, and definitely you're going to achieve what you want. Okay, now we're going to look at always bringing your best self. And this is really, really important. And this is something I preach all the time. So what works best when you're bringing your best self? I always say, bringing a bazooka to a knife fight. That's what works best. Don't come to play. When you go for something, go for it. If you want something, go for it. If you're going to an interview, make sure you look the part. Make sure you have prepared yourself accordingly. Make sure you know about the company. Make sure you have done your research. Make sure you have read annual reports from the company. Be prepared. There's so many people out here who are talented. So what else are you bringing that's different from someone else? Bring a bazooka to a knife fight. That is always my plan. I don't come, to play around. I know what I want, and I'm going to give you my best. I don't want to have any regrets at the end of anything that I'm doing. So I will do it to my utmost best. So here are some things that I picked up along the way as I have been working, as I have been, employed, as I have gone through life, and especially in my career. Number one, networking internally at your job is absolutely something we all need to be doing. I don't know if people understand that networking is not only external networking, which is the second point that we look at, but even in your job, you need to network internally. And this is by making and taking the extra effort. Like I said, I reached out to Dinette, who was at that time my senior manager, very senior manager. And that was part of networking because I knew that there's going to be opportunities that are going to be coming up. And definitely, if I reach out, then I'm going to be out there. And even when considerations are being made, like you are already known, people know your work because you do a great job, you're willing to get involved, so you're always bringing your best self. I'm not talking about schmoozing, or, trying to wheel your way around. I'm talking about doing a great job consistently and being involved, taking the extra effort, right? And when you put in the extra effort, you will definitely be noticed. And that already is a way of networking internally. Take up special projects if you have to take them within your department. Take up, coordinate, liaise with other departments, where you're working. Have cross-functional skills. Be able to know what is someone in a different department doing. Can you take some volunteering projects that you can work with if it is in IT? Can you learn some things, if HR has an opening? Just try as much as possible for you to have cross-functional knowledge in anything that, in any organization that you're working in. And then again, so if the manager in another department that you volunteered for, or you took up some special project or task that they were having, then they get to know you. And so in that way, if you did a great job, if you put in the effort, and if you were willing to get involved, they already know you. They already know, I've worked previously with Alvin. So now there's an opening in this position. Why not? He's definitely a candidate to consider, because that's how I literally came about my position as a communication specialist, because of an article I had written when I was on a mission. And then I was approached and asked if I could write the company newsletter. And I said, yes, I could do it. And just from that, I was able to leverage that opportunity to get to my job as a communication specialist. Okay, and then our next point is networking externally, which I think most of us know is really important. So here I've talked about boss hunting, and I'm going to explain a little bit of what boss hunting is. And so finding the hiring manager on a company website. You are putting an application, right? You have seen a job that you want. You've said, okay, this is something that looks interesting to me and that I would like to get into. So you put in your application and you send it into the tracking system. But then what else are you going to do? Boss hunt. Find the hiring manager on the company website. Again, as I said, go onto the company website, read who is the person that the job description says that you will be reporting to. You can get them on LinkedIn. If you find their name on the company website, find them on LinkedIn, search for them, and send out what they call a cold email, and just let them know, hello, I have applied, I'm interested in this position, which I have applied for in your company, and I would really like to be interested, and this and this and that is what I bring to, I will be able to bring to your company. These are my skills. This is, what I can offer you. And so that puts you in a better position, than just what I'm going to talk about in point number 3, the applicant tracking system, which is basically an abyss, where a lot of us just send resumes and send our CVs, send our motivation letters, send our cover letters, and they just go into these applicant tracking systems to die. And I'm sure so many of us have sent out applications and, you never receive responses, or you just get, these automatically generated responses. And so if you are not, out there, putting yourself out there, boss hunting, sending out cold emails, networking, trying to get someone from the company that you're applying to. Maybe they're your first degree connection. If they're not, this is on LinkedIn I'm talking about. Maybe they are a second degree connection, which means they know somebody whom you know on LinkedIn. Reach out to that person to introduce the two of you and find out about the company, find out what it is that they're looking for, who is the person who is hiring, all these things play into you standing out and you not just, being in this abyss with hundreds and sometimes hundreds of, applicants, sending in their applications. So there's, on YouTube, there's this amazing career coach. He's called Andrew Lasivita. You can look him up, and he gives some amazing talks and videos that he has posted on networking externally, how to use LinkedIn, just to get you out there. So definitely that's something for you, for any of us to look at. I would encourage you to look at his videos. So for your resume, point number 3, definitely get it out there. Get it done. Don't procrastinate. It doesn't have to be perfect. What you need to do is get it out there and get it done. Update it regularly. Tweak it. Do not use generic words, you know. You need to use keywords. Look at the job description. What are they asking for? What are they looking for? What are the skill set that they want in the job description? And then tailor your resume, your CV to talk or rather to sell you in the manner that the job description is talking. Because the job description says a lot about what they're looking for. It's not just something that is just there that employers are just putting out. Go through the job description with a fine comb and then put out your top skills that fit the job description. So that means from time to time, you'll need to update your resume. I know sometimes that's a real big task for people, and you know, we just send out the same CV, same resume for all kinds of, jobs that we're applying for, but then that doesn't work. We need to tailor our resumes and our CVs to show the best skills or the top skills as reflected in the job description. So another very important thing is to replace your duties with accomplishments. You'll find CVs sent out because in my position, I'm also a hiring manager, and we also receive, I see these CVs when we are doing interviews, and so many people just copy and paste basically just what their job description at the place of work currently is or previously was, and they just paste it onto their resume. And then that doesn't say anything about you. It doesn't say what you're bringing. It doesn't say the skills that you have. It doesn't say the things that you've helped the organization achieve. It doesn't give me any outlook about yourself. So instead of you pasting your duties, paste the accomplishments that you have done while you were doing the duties. You can have a bullet of, you know, maybe some of your job description, but let the majority of whatever it is that you're writing and putting on your CV be the accomplishments, okay? And with the statistics that you have achieved in those accomplishments. So what do you bring and not what you're looking for? Again, most people will write, you know, I am looking for a company where I will be fulfilled in blah, 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 and where I can grow in this experience. I mean, this is good for you that this is what you're looking for, but what are you offering the company? They are looking to hire someone. They're not looking for someone who is looking for something in them. The company wants to find someone who's going to be an asset to them, okay? The company, the organization, your employer wants an asset to them. So it's not about you. That will come later. What you want now is to get your foot into the door, and you need to show the company or the organization that you are applying to what it is that you're bringing to the table. And then another thing is for you to brand yourself. Branding is very important. And when we talk about branding, people think about, you know, oh, it's selling yourself and all those things. But branding is way more than just, you know, trying to sell yourself. It's creating value around what you want to be known for, okay? For example, when you're known to be orderly, you're known to be organized, and you're known to be credible, that's a brand, you know? If people are walking around and they know that, you know, Jane is, you know, an organized person, she's orderly. If you give her work, she's delivers on time. If she's facing an issue, you know, with time crunch, she will let me know in advance as her manager or the person who she's reporting to, and then we can work out a plan on how we are going to go forward with the project or with the task. That is a brand, you know. I will be more inclined, you know, to reach out to Jane to give them, you know, specific tasks because I know that they can deliver. And this is unfortunately sometimes how managers work, because sometimes you are on pressure, you're on time crunch, and you need to get the job done, and you know the person who can do the job. And so that person will be getting more opportunities, you know, to do different tasks. And so brand yourself. Like I said, put in the extra effort, do a great job, and be willing to get involved. Let people know you for your organization. Let people know you for your time management. Let people know you for, being the person that is able to deliver. And if I go back to the third point, I'm remembering that Lisa Miller, I think Lisa Louise Miller, yes, she gave some incredible insight and statistics around applicant tracking systems. So again, that's another video on CDPD YouTube site or Facebook that you can go and look into. And basically she was talking about, it's about you have like a chance out of 100 applications that you give, you probably have something like 3 chances out of 100 submissions that you have made to an applicant system of applicant tracking system of you being picked. So those are very slim odds. So you want to put in the extra effort. Like I was saying, you want to boss hunt, you want to send out cold emails, you want to reach out to your network, you want to do what you need to do for you to be out there. Right. Point number 4, we're going to talk about paying it forward. So many people, and most of us, want to be a part of something that does good in the world and makes a real difference in people's lives. At least I know I want to, and that is what made me get into the international development humanitarian sector. And that is what, again, drew me to the nonprofits arena. I always feel a lot better when I give instead of receiving. And I feel a deep desire to pay things forward as my personal philosophical basis. So there's always the saying that, it's better to give than to receive. And through my journey, I have found that this is very true. I was talking with my best friend recently, and I told her I'm so glad that at this point where I am, I feel like I am able to give more than what I am receiving. And it feels really fulfilling, to be at a place where you're feeling you're impacting and making a change. No matter how small, it's still a change and you're still giving it. So make the world a better place. For example, the mission of CDPD, the group in itself is a pay it forward concept, providing mentoring, coaching, and resources, to marginalized people. So, for example, by volunteering to help a manager or a supervisor, now I'm just talking about how you can pay it forward at your own workplace. So if you volunteer to help your manager, supervisor from another department, like I was saying with a project, you might, stay in the back of their mind for when another opportunity comes. All of us should constantly provide acts of kindness and share time, talent, and experiences with others. It doesn't take away from you when you share, and it doesn't take away from you when you take what you have learned and the things that have helped you grow, and you mentor and you coach someone so that they can be better at what they are doing. I think that's one of the greatest gifts. And if more people were willing to do that, then we would, have amazing people out here. We would have stars. But if you keep what you know to yourself, thinking that, you don't want competition, or you're afraid someone will come and surpass you, or, at the workplace, you want to be the one to excel, actually, you will find that you are missing out on key skills that you could have been building in leadership, and especially in servant leadership. So doing good also has its own health benefits, including reducing stress and depression, as well as improving your self-esteem. So paying it forward can enhance your personal life as well as your professional life. So I encourage you today to start looking for ways to pay it forward, to start looking for small ways in which you can make a difference in someone's life, whether it is in your career, whether it is in your personal life, whether it is professionally or otherwise, through volunteering, through mentoring or coaching someone, through sessions where you can talk to people and just help them out with resolving situations that you are good at. Find a way in which you can make the world a better place. That's why we are all here at CDPD, because had it not been for this opportunity, then we would not have all these amazing people telling us how we are able to grow and how we are able to leverage ourselves and how we can, maneuver through some of these things which can be, you can think are very technical and so difficult. But because we have this platform, then we are able to pay it forward, we're able to learn from people, and then we're able to make ourselves better. So I encourage you, pay it forward. Then something else that's really important, and I have found to be really important as you move through life, is having a support system. So a support system is made up of individual people who provide support, respect, and care. These are people who are in your corner. They do not judge you or ridicule you. They provide feedback that is genuine and in your best interest. And most importantly, their support is not self-serving. So one of the, like I'm saying, the most important things I've found is that I have a support system of very wonderful people around me who are able to carry me through a lot of things that I go through, and a lot of questions I have, they're able to stand by me, they're able to give me feedback. And feedback does not mean that it always has to be something that you want to hear. It can also be feedback, that is to help you, fix something. And so these people are people who are genuine and not self-serving. And I find that sometimes a lot of us think that our support system is our family, or maybe some friends that we've been having for a long time. But even your family, or even friends that you had for a long time, they can be setting you back. So when you're looking for a support system, you need to find people who are not self-serving. If you're finding that it is your family, or people around you, close to you, who are holding you back, then you will have to leave those people behind. Because if you want to move forward, if you want to achieve what you need to achieve, and if you want to architect and make your own life, then you cannot bring these people with you. Some things need to be left behind, and it's okay. Not everyone has to like you. At the same time, not everyone has to hate you. So it's okay if someone feels like, you are no longer being a part of their life, and you have a genuine reason for you letting go of that person. It's okay, let them go and find people who are able to support you to move to the next level. Having a strong support system has many benefits for your well-being, better coping mechanisms and skills, and a longer and healthier life. So these are people you trust, people who will cheer you on. And as I say, people who you trust doesn't necessarily mean that it's the people who are closest or around you. Sometimes those are the people who are actually not the best for you. And you need to really think about who is around you, and who are the people that you're bringing into your inner circle. So these are people whom you call. These are people you can call at 2 a.m. in the morning, and they will be there for you. These are people who anchor you, and people who will correct and point you in the right direction. So I have found that I have very close friends. They're few in number, but these are the people who have been able to propel and push me forward. They are people in my professional life, there are people in my personal life. And it's not a big circle, it's literally the same circle. But we have grown with each other through a lot of ups and downs. We have learned from each other. They have been there, and I have seen them changing themselves, okay? So also you see the change in these people. It's not that they are stagnant. It's not where we were 5 years ago. Today, as friends or as a support system, we're still at the same place. We are cheering each other on. We want to see each other do the best that we can do, right? So make sure your support system are people who are in your corner, and yet even when they are still in your corner, that there are people who can give you feedback and tell you, hey, Alvin, here, this is not the right way, or this is not looking good, and maybe you need to switch up tactics, right? So that's another point. And finally, I want you to start today. Like I said, Everything is in baby steps. You do not need to rush. It does not need to all be done at one go. If you need to clean up, whether it is your networks, if you need to, go into LinkedIn and start the whole process, you can start today and you can take baby steps. Experience means trying. If you don't try again, you can never have any experience. Then you need to develop a strategy. Start your personal development plan as we talked, embrace a growth mindset, and put in actions to achieve what you desire. Get back on your feet. You cannot fall from the floor. So if you're on the floor at this moment, then the only place for you to go is up. So get back on your feet. Dust yourself, persistent, insistent, and consistent. No matter how many rejections you get, even if you apply to these applicant tracking systems, you put in what you need to put in, and you get rejections, that doesn't deter you. You keep going. I got emails full of rejections before I got the opportunity that I got to enter the humanitarian world 5 years ago. And many colleagues, even those who I was having at that time, were laughing and were like, oh, well, you're dreaming big, all these things that you want, you're dreaming big. So how many applications have you put in today? But I was insistent. I did not stop. It didn't stop me. Even if I get a rejection, I'm like, okay, good. I have learned another way of making my application better for the next time. So if you're already on the floor, that's the best place to start, because there's nowhere else for you to go except up. Make yourself a priority. You need to know when to leave that job. You need to know when to leave again. That relationship, it could be, family, it could be a relationship, romantic or otherwise, friendship or whatever it is, job relationship, whatever it is that you need to break away from. Make yourself a priority. Knowing the time to leave is really important, because sometimes we stay holding on to things for too long because that's all we know. That's our comfort zone. That's all we have been, living with for a long time. But just because you've been living with this for a long time, or this is something that you have been with for a long time, doesn't mean that it's right, or it doesn't mean that it's the best thing for you. There is so much opportunity out there. All you have to do is put yourself out there, is take that risk, take that step today, try it. If you fail, that's fine. You've learned one way of not doing it, as I said before, and that just keeps increasing your knowledge. Then finally, choose to be happy and live life at your own pace. One of the most important things that I learned is not to compete with other people, or not to try to, run with the opportunities of other people. Life is different for everyone. The circumstances that got Alvin to where he is seated today are different circumstances from what is going to get, John to where he needs to be. Each one of us has their own path. And it's really important to acknowledge that, because if you're trying to go via someone else's script, you might find it very difficult, right? So create your own script. Learn, as I said, from other people's mistakes, experiences, successes as well, not just from their mistakes, also from their successes, and use that to make a plan for yourself. So live life at your own pace. Do not feel rushed to do something or to be somewhere because someone else is there. They got there by following a path. They got there by working towards it. Work your way through it. If today was to be my last day, I would be very proud of the place where I am. Definitely, I have aspirations. I have not gotten everything that I want to get. I'm still seeking bigger, better opportunities. I'm still seeking to make more difference in more people's life. I'm still wanting to do so much more with my life. But that doesn't negate the things that I have done that have gotten me this far. It doesn't negate my achievements so far. It doesn't negate where I have come from. It doesn't negate my journey. So thank yourself. Remember your achievements. Don't forget about your achievements. What you have done to get to the place where you are today, it's been tremendous. It's been an enormous effort. So don't forget those achievements just because you feel like what you have achieved, comparing it to someone else, is not enough. It is enough, okay? We are looking ahead for better things, but also acknowledge what you have. Be grateful, be thankful to yourself, give yourself a pat on the shoulder and say, yes, we have gotten somewhere, and from here, we can work to a better place. Again, as I said, experience means trying, get yourself out there, and we'll be able to do great things. Thank you. And that's the end of my presentation. I welcome if any questions or comments, anything.
All right. So I have a few questions. Thank you, Alvin. You want to stop the screen share?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I loved it. And, of course, I'm proud of you because I've watched you grow over these years. And you are, again, the only person that I've worked with who has been brave enough to come on here. And I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
So I have some questions from YouTube. I only have one right now in the group, and then I have a hand up. Let me make sure. Is your hand really up? If so, I'll bring you on. If you really want, I'll bring you on and you can ask Alvin your question. So just let me know in the chat if you are really up. She put that hand down. Okay.
I guess it was a mistaken hand.
No? Okay. Okay, it didn't work. All right. Okay, I didn't hear anything. Can you hear me, Alvin?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, we're having some connection
issues. A little bit,
oh my goodness.
I can hear you.
Are we back?
Yes, you're back.
All right, guys, give us a moment. We're having some little connection issues. Okay. You can hear me?
Yes, 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 I can hear you, Dinette.
Mm-mm.
Can you hear me? I think we lost Dinette. Okay. So I think I see a question from Alan Ayuo, and he's saying, could you touch on the importance of personal health and wellness in architecting one's future? So actually, one of the biggest things that I've learned through my journey is the importance of mental health. And I am really lucky to have one of the people in my support system, my best friend, who is a mental health advocate. And she has really been an amazing, resource for me to understand the importance of personal, of mental health, because so many of us take mental health for granted. And now in Kenya, at least, I'm seeing some recognition around mental health and, the importance of making sure that we keep ourselves going, and we are looking at ourselves, and not just, physically, but also how are we functioning, mentally. And so mental wellness is really, really important, because a lot of people suffer from a lot of trauma, a lot of issues, undiagnosed diseases that people don't know, depression, stress, stress is a very big factor. And especially in this situation with COVID, people are locked up, people have not been able to, find the right coping mechanisms, people do not have psychosocial support. And so it's very easy for you to, lose yourself and lose track and not be in a place that is okay. So ensuring your mental health is in a good place is really something that's important. Jeanette, are you back?
I hope I am.
Yeah, I can
Am I
see
back? Okay,
you.
let me start recording again. All right.
Yeah, you're
You
back.
can hear me? Okay,
Yes, yes.
Did you answer any questions?
Yes, I read a question from someone
Okay,
on
you don't
the
have
chat.
to answer them.
Yeah.
So which ones did you answer?
From one of the chat, there was someone who asked about personal health and wellness in architecting one's future. And I was just mentioning mental health and the importance of, keeping yourself, okay mentally, not just physically, but also making sure that mentally you are in a good place. And seeking support when you need to seek it, seeing a counselor, if you need to visit, someone to talk to, these are things that are, especially in our context, that people are not very familiar with, but they're very important. And I was just mentioning that one of my support systems, who's my best friend, is a mental health expert and advocate. And she's been like a very, very big part of helping me understand the importance of, making sure that I am mentally okay and in a good place.
Perfect. There was someone had a question about sharing it's not here anymore because it's in the other chat, about sharing the presentation. Was that you, Alan? I think that was Alan. Alan, you also had another question. Can you drop it again, please? I think you had two in the chat.
Yeah. The other one was the personal. The other one was the one about the health and wellness.
Oh, okay. Okay, that was Alan's question. Okay, let me see. Could you touch on okay, all right, personal health and wellness and architecting one's future. Okay. May I get a copy of your slide? Okay. So
yes,
you're going to share it, Alvin? Can I have it? I have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I put it in the group too?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then
these are resources that are open to CDPD members. I'm very happy to share it with anyone who needs it.
All right. So guys, I'm gonna upload it into the group when we're done today. Okay. Let's see. So I have, okay, so that's great. Then I have, when did you overcome your personal fears?
Wow. Overcoming your personal fears, I think it's not something that happens once. It's something that I have to be very deliberate about. Every day as I go through my life.
Gosh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're there.
Okay. So I was saying that it's something very, very deliberate that I do, and I make effort to make sure that I am not weighed down by things that I am going through and, things that are happening to me, because things happen all the time. I have lots of fears all the time. Things come my way and I sit and I think, wow, how am I going to handle it? I have lots of fears, but just because I have the fear doesn't mean that I'm going to let it overshadow me. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get myself, because if I allowed myself, and if I touch a little bit about my own personal journey, growing up and what I went through, losing my father, then later losing my mom. By the time I was 19, we were orphaned. I had my two sisters younger than me, all in school, and I had just finished high school, the eldest. and here we were, and how are we to move forward? So that was one of the darkest times in my life. And if that time didn't break me, I surely nothing is able to break me at this point.
Yes.
And at that point, the truth is, at that point, I was very bitter, and I think, I don't want to say people should be bitter and that should drive them, but I'm just saying that at that point, there was a lot of that in my life because I was so bitter with life and everything that was happening. It was fueling me. But if you let bitterness fuel you, it will kill you. You'll get to a point where it will crush you, it will eat you up, and it will remove everything that is joyous, everything that is happy, anything that gives you strength, it will take it all away from you. So I had to deliberately choose to be happy with my life. I had to deliberately choose that every day I wake up, I'm making a conscious choice, okay, to be happy and to overcome what I need to overcome that day.
All right. I love that, Alvin, and it's true. And I love the way how you say, if that didn't get you, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that was a very dark period, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Alan, you see that from Alan? Thank you for a great presentation. Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Alan. I'm so happy you've gotten some insightful tips, and thank you. I'm really happy for the feedback.
All right. I have when did you realize you were ready to work towards your goals and dreams?
Oh, I knew it. Like, I have known that I have big dreams for a long time. It's not been I can't say when I realized. I think I also saw a lot of ambition and drive in my mom growing up. My mother, she was a very hardworking woman. She was raising 3 kids by herself, at some point jobless, and we were all going to school. And not just any kind of school. We were going to good schools. She was making the effort to make sure that we did not lack anything. I know she had a lot of struggles that she went through personally. And those are things that I take, and I try now not to do the same. But then I also take the bits from her where I saw what an amazing role model she was. I always say, if I was only a third of the person that she is, I think I will have achieved a lot more. Yeah, because with 3 kids and not having a job, she was still putting us through private school, and up to the last day of her life, she was making sure that we had the best. And so I always knew from a young age, because growing up, she had given us everything that she could give us. We had a good life. And even when things started going south and things were no longer as good as they were before, I could still remember how and what we had. And I knew that we could get back there. And I could get back there. Yeah.
I love it that you drew from those times.
Yeah.
Guys, do you have any other questions? Because you know what's getting ready to happen. Please, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat or raise your hand. We'll bring you on. Cynthia, you sure you don't want to raise your hand again? Was that a real hand raise? Because I'm going to go ahead with my questions. So what I'll do is I'll start my first 2 questions and then I'll check back into the chat before my third, okay? All right. So, Alvin, I'm doing something a little different because I actually got the definition of marginalization from Merriam-Webster's dictionary, okay? And can you hear me, Alvin?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. And the reason I got it is because some people automatically think marginalization is just one thing or the other. So I just got the definition. I'm going to read you the definition. I'm going to read you our mission, and then I'm going to ask you the question. Okay. All right. So the dictionary definition, and this was from Merriam-Webster's, said marginalize it to put or keep, and then someone in a powerless or important position within a society or group. Okay. Very simple definition. All right. So CDPD's mission is to increase marginalized and BIPOC groups access to employment opportunities and representation in the workforce by providing our members with free training, mentorship, and other resources. CDPD was created in response to record unemployment and underemployment stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. So I'm going to ask you, Alvin, keeping in mind our mission and the definition to put or keep someone in a powerless or important position within society or a group, could you share with us today if you have ever been marginalized by someone, some group in a situation where you were marginalized?
Well, Dinette, you know, myself being a gay person, being a gay man, and in this part of the world, I have faced all kinds of issues, whether it's marginalization, discrimination, all kinds of things, you know, being a Black man, being gay, it's like, it's a combination of everything, okay? Being Black, gay, being coming from Africa, it's just everything that I have faced. I've faced things at the airport when I'm trying to travel internationally. I've faced things at embassies when I'm trying to apply for visas. And in my personal and professional life, I have faced marginalization, definitely, especially for being LGBTQ. And I remember one of my very first jobs when I joined, and because I have always been true to myself, and one of the things that has been very important to me is for me to always speak my truth and never to hide. It might be difficult living as a gay man in Kenya today, and to be accepted by society, but I have always chosen, even years ago, now I'm in my 30s, this was in my 20s, and this was even still when these things were not out there and people could even talk about them like we do now. And I was out at that point because I had chosen to come out, and I said I was not going to live in the closet. After going through what I went through at 9, by the time I was 19 years, I was like, I'm going to live my truth moving forward. And so I remember one of my first jobs when I joined, and my colleagues found out somewhere, I don't know, that I was gay, not that necessarily I hide it. And so they literally bombarded me with text messages and sent, I was getting, you know, anonymous text messages, you know, talking about how I'm going to be assaulted. I was getting, my boss who hired me at that point got messages also from, you know, anonymously, but definitely from people who we were working with, that I was, you know, an embarrassment to be working for that company, and that they should get rid of me, you know, so that you know, the organization, the company is no longer, I mean, they're not in that embarrassed state. And one of the things, I know that he wasn't the best person, or he wasn't like, you know, but he stood up and he said, no, this is not right. And if anybody has a problem with Alvin being here, then you have a problem with me as your employer. And so that was some of the biggest truths that I've learned, that even where there's those spaces where you're not, you know, people are trying to make them unsafe, and people are trying to put you in a powerless position. People are trying to bring you down. People are trying to, you know, just get you down and low and just break your spirit. That there are people and there are safe spaces where you can seek. And so for me, that continued to be my mission and continue to be my passion, that I will never, despite everything that I face, every day I wake up and have to face the world as a young Black gay man living in Kenya. Every day is a struggle in its own. But again, like I said, being deliberate and choosing not to let that bring me down. And no matter what marginalization I face out there, you know, the comments people have to say about me, or, you know, some of the closed-minded, you know, things people are not educated about, you know, the LGBTQ community and all those things. I don't let them bring me down. But yes, I've faced a lot of instances. If we were to sit here and discuss them, they would just be too many to go through. But I choose not to let those break my spirit. And I'm happy that I've gotten to the place where I am, and I can be proud of who I am. And I will never accept to go into a closet or somewhere else, you know, back where I was at 19 years, just to please someone. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Alvin. I asked the question, not to dwell on these negative experiences, but I asked the question for our members and for anyone who watches this presentation to see that, first of all, there's so many different ways that our presenters have said they've been marginalized for different reasons, not always obvious, right? But in spite of that, they're here presenting today. You're here, you're presenting, and you have something to share that is helping other people. You're successful, right? And you're still striving for more success. And that's why I asked the question, because I want people to take courage, courage, encouragement, and strength from the fact that even if you are in a situation right now where you feel like you're marginalized, you too can be successful, you can be triumphant, you can glean from the presenters. That's why I asked that question, okay? And thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna go back to the chat because I see a question. Let's see. Oh, this is both for Alvin and Danette. How do you bounce back from losing a job, especially during the pandemic? Alvin, can you start and I'll pick up?
Okay. Yeah. So right now, I can only imagine. I am lucky that right now I still have a job, and I wouldn't even, you know, try to imagine what someone who had to lose their job at this point during a pandemic is facing. But I think, again, one of the most important things, like I said, is for you to keep being persistent, insistent, and consistent, and for you not to give up. Just because one door has closed doesn't mean that the window is not open, okay? Doesn't mean that the doggy door won't open and for you to crawl through it, you know? It doesn't mean that everything else is shut from you just because you lost your employment. I've been in a position where I've lost employment previously. Danette, you're very well aware of what happened. But just because you lose something, it could be an opportunity for you to start, you know, or to get into something else. I know a lot of people in this time, I've seen, you know, stories, because I like to go on YouTube and watch people's stories and everything, that they say, okay, I lost my job, but then I was able to start this business. I was able to, you know, now get into maybe something that I wanted, a passion that I had been keeping off for so long. And now this was the opportunity for me now to, you know, take the reins and just move forward with what I have been planning for myself. But I have not had the time, I have not had the commitment, I've not had, you know, the push or the drive to take me to what I need to be doing. And so that's one of the things that I was talking about in the last slide, letting go of things that, you know, are holding you back. Sometimes letting go even of that job is a good thing for you. I'm not saying it's easy. I know it's very difficult. Definitely we all want to have a source of income, but for me, I think that is something that I would take. And I would, you know, and that's what I'm saying, laying networks and laying foundations and putting yourself out there so that even when things like this happen, you have a fallback mechanism, or you're able to, you know, pick yourself, you know, and take yourself somewhere.
Yeah. I will share, thank you, Alvin. I will share along those lines. Someone said to me earlier this week or last week, recently, sometimes you have to, that the archer, you know, with a bow, an arrow, an archer has to draw back to move forward, right? So you have to pull the bow back. And if you look at that and you take that right now in this time, you know, the go back is I'm unemployed. I'm back to being unemployed, right? But what are you going to do in this moment of unemployment? There's so many things that people are doing. And yes, some people are starting businesses and doing amazing, amazing things. Some people are also doing amazing things like learning a new trade, learning a new skill, building their personal and professional networks. They're planting the seeds, right? That, and they're watering them, and then they will sprout in the future. And so one thing I can say is just to have hope. You know, like, have hope. I love when Alvin says, if you're already on the floor, right, you can't fall further, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're, yeah. The only way is up.
Yeah, the only way is up, and it's difficult, you know. And I have been laid off before. I've been unemployed before. I'm unemployed now, you know. So, but in that, I am keeping myself very, very busy and very, very active with CDPD, and I am also trying to help others. And I do love the fact that Alvin says paying it forward, because in this that we are doing here in CDPD, no matter where you are, you can pay it forward. We had a woman give a presentation a couple of weeks ago. She was unemployed, talking about her journey. And while she was giving the presentation, someone was leaving her a message, giving her a job. Okay, so Mildred, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her. I saw her post on Facebook, and I was like, "Wow,
Yes.
you know, amazing." Exactly.
Yeah. So I would say, I know it's difficult, and I know it's especially difficult outside of the U.S., where we have some, you know, safety nets here that are not unemployment and public assistance that are not available in Kenya and other countries. But I will say, you know, figure out something that gives you hope. It could be your children, it could be personal success in the future, it could be a new car you want, whatever it is. It could be something materialistic, right?
Yes.
And know that you'll have it one day if you just stay the course. And staying the course now means that in your time of unemployment, there's something that you need to do for yourself. And I don't know what that is, but you know, is that a new skill? Is that helping someone else? Is that learning something? Is that you're not sending out resumes in the right way, right? Because we don't just want to be click sending resumes.
Exactly.
You know, so there's some things you need to do. And it's difficult. I don't want to discount the fact that it is difficult. And definitely stay here in CDPD, right? So when you can, come into the group, connect with people. I'm trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want to start saying what I'm trying to do because I don't want to make any empty promises, but I'm not forgetting Kenya. You know, that's my second home. So I got a lot of stuff I'm trying to do here for all of us. All right. Do we have another question? No. Okay. So I'm going to ask Alvin my second question. And my second question, Alvin, is, since you're all the way in your 30s now, I'm in my 70s, you're all the way in your 30s now. What would you go back and tell your younger self about your career journey, your journey?
That's a really good question. And, you know, I say this about myself. I'm like, I'm in my 30s, but I feel like I've lived the life, you know, like I'm 60 at this point. Like, I feel that, like, sometimes I feel that I'm like, wow, I feel like I've lived until 60 and I'm still just in my 30s. You know, it's still a long way to go, but from the experiences that I've been through, it feels like I'm 60. Sometimes I feel that way. But if I could go back to my 19-year-old self, I think I will just say what Nicole said last week, that I would tell that young man that it's going to be okay, because he had nothing to look forward to. He had no hope. He had nowhere to fall back on, but just the good graces of some wonderful people who came into my life. And that's the thing, even with that question about, you know, what do you do in a situation where you need to bounce back after you've lost a job? Like, you have no hope. And I have been in situations where I've had no hope. Like, again, like we're talking about my younger self at 19, but all I could tell, I look back at that now and I think, wow, I had such amazing grace. There was so much grace to take me through that period that I look now and I'm like, if half of it happened to me now, I don't know if I have the I could take it, but I could take it. Yeah, I could take it at that point because I had the grace at that point to take it. So if I could go back to my 19-year-old self, I would tell him, Alvin, oh my God, you don't know the wonderful things that are waiting for you. You don't know you're gonna be able to go to a vacation one day you pay for yourself and go to a vacation outside of the continent.
All right.
Leave alone traveling with it. Like there's so many things ahead of your future that are going to be wonderful. Like there's gonna be tough times, there's gonna be dark times, but there's so much ahead of you that you will sit back and you will say, and you will not believe it's you who's going through it. So that's what I would tell him. I would tell him, keep the course.
Keep the course, stay the course.
Keep the course.
I love it. I love it. All right. I don't have anything else. Let me look on YouTube really quickly to make sure. And then I'm going to go with my final question, which you guys all know. Okay, these are comments, so they're not questions. I'm going to drop them back. I'm going to drop them into the chat so you'll have them on when I send you the these are from YouTube. The last bit from YouTube. Okay, this was a wonderful presentation. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, this is my final question. So Alvin, if we can only take away one item today, what do you want us to take away? What would be the takeaway you want for us?
Okay. Again, simple. Persistence, insistence, consistency. PIC is my life. That's it. I got it in high school. I'll never forget my English teacher for letting me know, for those 3 words, and she kept drilling them. And it was as if it was, something that it was divine, or if you believe in divine, or if it was the universe or something. But that has been my life. And for me, I just will never give up. No matter how things look, my takeaway is never give up on yourself. Never do.
What was this teacher's name? You have to say her name.
We
don't remember?
I remember. I think she was called Mrs. Ogola, but I can't remember if that was, I bet she was called Mrs. Ogola. Yes. At Brookshire High School. If I've gotten your name wrong, I'm so sorry, but
he got that pick.
But I remember the school at least, and I remember it was in my first year of high school. And maybe one day I can meet her like Oprah did. I saw Oprah met her fourth grade, teacher, and I guess she was still remembering her name. I have a weakness. I'm really bad at remembering names. Things, so I tend to forget names from time to time, but I will never forget a face. Like, that's the thing. I forget names, but faces, I would never forget. I know I've met someone forever. So,
I don't forget the faces. In my old age, in my 40s, I have started to forget names. Yes, I'm not like my old boss Miro. I'm not like him. I can't remember everybody's name. But I know everyone's face.
Yeah. I recently wrote to him on LinkedIn, and I was like, hello, Miro, we weren't a connection. And he remembered. He was like, of course I remember you.
Everyone's name.
Wow.
I'm not that good. But and then everyone uses different names on social media. I always say, oh, my Kenyan crew, you guys have all these names. I only know your passport name. If it's not your passport name, I don't know it. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, this was so wonderful. Thank you, Alvin. I really appreciate you. I really enjoyed this. I'm going to say, because we have quite a few people on the chat from Kenya, and I know that quite a few people will watch the replay from Kenya. I know you guys can't always jump on because the stuff that I do is not always in Kenyan time or convenient, but I'm going to encourage you to stay the course with CDPD. Okay. I'm going to encourage you to catch the replays, to reach out to me if you need any assistance. I will connect you with anyone that you need to be connected with, that I believe that if you believe they can help you and they're connected to me, I will do that. You know, I don't know if you know, but I love all of you. Okay. Like, I love all of you. And I want to do, I wouldn't have started CDPD if so many of my former RSC staff didn't contact me for assistance. Okay. I had a handful of people in the US that I knew, but the bulk of the people contacting me were RSC current or former staff. And that's why I started CDPD. So you guys always have a place in my heart. I will do anything that I can to support all of you. But you have to let me know, okay? You have to speak. And I'll say that too. All of our presenters have said that they are willing to help. So when you think that you can't come to someone, you'd be surprised that people are willing to assist you and willing to help you. I had plenty of RSC staff come to me for career chats. I didn't have a lot of time, you know how it was there. But I made the time to speak to people, and people will help you. And so seek out those people. But remember, if you're going to watch Mildred's presentation, Mildred Allen, okay? She tells you what to do. If you're going to seek people out, then you need to be deliberate. You need to be mindful of their time, right? And do the work. So I'm going to end this and say again, thank you, Alvin. I really, really appreciate you. You see in the chat, they've invited you back from YouTube. Rhonda says, are you coming back? That's up to Alvin if he wants to come back. You have an open invite.
I feel so honored, you know, to just be here and to be talking to you, Dinette, and all CDPD members and anyone who will join. Like, I am just so honored just to have the opportunity. So definitely, as long as the invite is there, I will come and we can talk about
invite. And you come back, you tell me what you want to do, and you know when you want to do it, and we'll do it. All right. All right, Kenya, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining everyone else from CDPD. Get connected to Alvin. If you are not connected to Alvin, go on our YouTube channel and watch the replay of these presentations that Alvin told you about. And there are so many others. There are about 30 of them on the website and more to come. Thank you all. Have a good evening, Kenya.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.